I'm the director of the Historical Museum, the Wichita-Sedgwick County Historical Museum here in Wichita, Kansas. And this is the third and final of 3 annual exhibits we've held here celebrating the electric guitar. And it's a debut performance here in Wichita in 1932. And it's that we should have a Wichita man, musician and orchestra leader and educator who happened to be very well connected to the people in Los Angeles, originally with the National Guitar Company, and them spinning off, creating the first electrically amplified guitars. And Gage Brewer, the man I'm talking about, brought this instrument back here to Wichita, of all places, to debut it. And while I'm sure they did some field testing, he wasn't the first person to play one of these things. George Beecham, who was originally with National and started what's now called Rickenbacker, certainly went around and played this thing. And his friend Jack Miller, another big studio musician in Los Angeles, was certainly out with these, doing some field testing, but no one unveiled it with as much enthusiasm and aplomb as Gage Brewer, and so there's our claim.
My name is Deke Dickerson. I'm from Los Angeles, but I'm here in Wichita, Kansas today. Yesterday I gave a solo performance to demonstrate a little bit about the electric Spanish style guitar, and today I gave a lecture on the history of the electric guitar from the West Coast with Kansas roots, because a lot of people don't know that not only were most of the electric guitars invented and made out in California, but that there were also a lot of electric guitars that were built here in Kansas. And of course we were also treated to some electric Hawaiian guitar from George, from GeorgeBoards, this guy here. So it's been a great, they've got a great exhibit here of early electric guitars, and it's just been a great day for us guitar geeks here in Wichita, Kansas.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man who needs no introduction. George Piper, thank you, George, for writing up from us.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Earliest amps. There is no fuse on it. There is no volume control. You plug directly into this guitar around the corner, which is Gage Brewer's guitar. It's reflected in Rickenbacker Records, I believe, is number 2 or 3, and the very first electric Spanish. It too, and this is what alerted us to this instrument before we realized the provenance. There's no volume control on it either, so no volume control on the amp, no volume control on the guitar, but we have done a little investigating, and during this period there was an inline volume control, which we have pictured down here, so that must have been what they did. Imagine they had to adjust that somewhere. This is Gage Brewer's guitar, and it has many prototypical features. I don't think they produced another one quite like this, but it's reflected in the Rickenbacker sales log as, I believe it was number 2 or 3. Gage Brewer's name follows the 2 or 3 instruments shipped. And it's a Spanish, a traditional standard type guitar. His other guitar, which he's depicted in this 1932 article here, is a Rickenbacker fry pan. And it has no indication that there was a knob on it either. So very, very early Rickenbacker instruments. Plugs went out of style in the early 30s, and they developed the 1/4-inch jack, which we still use today. And the guitars have an electromagnetic string-driven pickup. Rickenbacker was very particular about the type of strings that were to be used on the guitar. You could not use a bronze string. You wanted a string that was would register on a magnet. And so they said, use our steel strings. This is a very rare instrument. In fact, there are only 2 of these known at this point. It's labeled as an electro, which is the name they used immediately prior to relabeling things as Rickenbacker. This instrument would have been made in late 1932 or 1933. All instruments by 1934 had the Rickenbacker label.